Okay, I guess we're live on YouTube now. Okay, does it sound good in YouTube? Can you guys hear me clear there? Anybody on YouTube right now? Anyone in the YouTube, can you confirm that the sound is good? Hello. Okay, great. Took a long time for that. We're getting some lagging on YouTube or what? Okay, guys, let's go. Let me start the recording and we'll go. Everyone on Zoom, right? Good afternoon, traders. Welcome to the weekly outlook. Welcome to the YouTube viewers too. Let's start. So I want to start today with a little educational program for you guys, and I want to start with the pump because a lot of I noticed a lot of people are freaking out about the pump the last 2 weeks that I've been saying, watch, I'm expecting one more down. So I'm going to show you what we look at and how we trade, and no reason to freak out. Because if here's a deal, if you don't get a setup to trade, don't trade it. It's that easy, right? If you're looking to sell something or you're looking to buy something, you must have a setup that goes with it. Your analysis must be confirmed by a setup. So what am I looking at in the pump? Let's look at the pump, for example. I want all of you, maybe those of you who don't know what pattern is, if you would remember when I wasn't trading for you, and you can probably find the chart. When it was somewhere in here, I said, we'd probably expect one more down and trade and not very far down, and then we're going to totally have an upside in the pump. That view has not changed as yet. The reason the view has not changed is because we have not had an impulsive move to the upside, right? Depends on my analysis, the way and what I use for my analysis, and so far it's doing me a favor. It's working good, right? The analysis is pretty good. I don't see the move of an upside. So when you're starting an upside, you will always start with a very sharp move. See that sharp move there? Followed by a correction and another sharp move, a correction and another sharp move. You start with a very sharp move here, a correction and another very sharp move. You will get another correction here, and then you'll get another very sharp move. You will get an impulse and a correction and then another sharp move. Those are impulse and correction. If you look at this, you do have an impulse, you got some small corrections, you got another small impulse, you got another small correction. That doesn't look like all the previous impulses we were looking for when we were starting a yearly or a longer term trend. So what that means to me is that if you look at it from a more this perspective, I'm looking at a pattern that looks more like this, or like this, or if you go at the very top there, you'll see a similar one at the top here, like this. And when you see patterns like those, if you understand them and you know what you're looking for, you will pretty much get an impulse after that. It's pretty simple. It's not very complex. It's absolutely simple. What makes it difficult for you is you don't know what to look for in the chart. You have no idea what you're looking for. Then if you don't have any idea what you're looking for or how it should look or what this should do, then of course that becomes like Chinese language too, if you're not Chinese, that is, right? Or Russian language too, if you're not Russians, right? It becomes a foreign language to you. You know not what is going on. You have no idea. And then you become a troll because you start trolling my charts and saying crazy stuff. And I notice the trolls have been coming on. So what I would advise you to do is to learn this method, right? Oh, the trolls have been going crazy last week. I didn't even have time to even worry them. So what you need to do, what you really need to do is to focus on the structure, understand how it behaves, understand what it can do. And sometimes the corrections get a little bigger than you would expect that specific correction to behave. Nothing is abnormal about that. Depending on the time frame. Remember, I was talking about a daily correction. So it might take 2 or 3 months before that correction actually works. When you're looking at a 60-minute correction, remember we're looking at a 240 correction and a lot of charts, and they kept going a little more, but then they eventually went. And when they go, you don't miss the impulse. So let's look at the details in this, and I'm going to give you guys a little hint of how you can look into the details. Let's go into daily. And you can start to see the daily would have a move up, not very impulsive, very small impulses within it. A 1, 2, 3, that's your corrective structure. They got another impulse, they make one, they make another one, they make that. If you understand anything, that's one piece, that's a correction. You would not know that. We have a way of identifying that. That's your impulse. You notice what they have here, 1. This has 3, this has 3. Well, if you're a wave analysis person, if you understand anything about the wave theory, and if it really makes sense to you and it works, then you should be looking for a 2 and then a 3. Now, how far can the 2 go? That's the question. This is where people freak out. How far can the 2 go before it becomes an impulse? Well, that hasn't been an impulse for me. It isn't an impulse. We have broken the top before and it wasn't impulse. We have broken this top before, and that still gives you a 3-wave structure in what wave, by wave analysis of what Elliott wave identified as you will call a running flat. So have we seen time where they break the top and then they start to fall? Here is a good example. You got a 1, 2, 3 up, you got a 1, 2, 3 down, they went straight up, broke the top, and then reverse. Well, you would say, well, that was news driven. That wasn't so much news driven, that was expected because that's how pattern behaves. Whether it was news or no news, it doesn't matter. That would have come down. It's the same here. I'm still expecting for me to say that this thing is going to go up on the long term, it needs to come back at least to this distance, make a 3-wave corrective structure for me, and now I can look for that another impulse. So unless and until I get that, I'm going to be careful in any buys. Did we see pattern for buys? Did some of my traders even take buys? Yes, they did. They took it on the basis that it's going to be short term because we were not expecting a running flat there. We were not expecting them to break the top. We were saying that most likely they would come very close to the top and go down for a regular flat, then go back up. If that is not the case, then if this is a running flat, well, we can expect them to come back here and then go. I don't think they'll make an expanding flat. Most likely it's a running flat. And then they're going to go. And just so that you understand what those flats look like, remember the Euros? All of you remember the Euros when I was saying we are expecting one more down before we can consider that is going to be an up move? But here's a good example of how those running flats look like. So what we're expecting the Euros to do now is to start to go up. So the question is this piece over? You see, would you know that this impulse to the downside is over and you're starting up? Not exactly. There is no way to actually know exactly when it's done except when you start. But if you get a setup to buy, you buy. That's the principle by which we work. If we expect an upside and we get a setup for buy, we buy. So we're looking for a buy setup right now. I'll show you that in the chart as we go. This could still make 1, 2, 3. If you remember when this was going up, I said, no, that's a correction. You have to have one more down to complete that correction. And then you can go up. This started to go. We look at this structure and we said, no, that's not the impulse that is going to go up. That is a correction. You have to come back before you go. So is this impulse to the downside over? I don't know, but I can show you a very good possibility for a buy setup if you're looking for one. If they break out of here, buy, they come to this level, put it to break even. If they go, that's your trade. That's your bonus trade if they go. What's the worst happen to you there? Right? What's the worst that could happen to you in here? If you follow our strategy in the way we trade, the worst case scenario is you get a break-even trade. If this is not the one that is going, then what we are likely going to see is we're likely going to see something like this, and then they may go down back for one more. This will still go up. So we are still anticipating that impulse up. So far, this still looks like a correction, that the impulse that is ending the correction for an upside. See, it's not complicated, but it's difficult if you don't understand anything about it and you don't know the rules by which we do it and you don't know how it works. Do you think we didn't see a buy setup in the Pong here? You didn't think we didn't see that? You think we didn't see this buy setup? You think we didn't see that buy setup? I didn't take this because I thought likely they would break that top and turn. And I've seen that where they just break the top and turn. So, like I said to my traders, if you take it, try to get a break even. If you're lucky, you get more. Well, I don't trade based on luck. I don't trade that, okay, I will get lucky this time. I trade based on long-term strategies and what I'm going to look for. So I'm still expecting at least an impulse to the downside, and then we will see where that goes, right? You're actually getting a sell setup here. If you're looking at the 60 minutes, you should be in that sell, right? If you know where we would start looking for the sells, we would start looking for the sells from the top there. And if any one of you understand how I trade, you should be in that sell from here. So how many of you in the sell? That's the whole point. You see, that's the thing about trading. You don't have to catch every move that is in there. People who do that lose their account. You have to understand what the structure is going to do. And if it's actually doing what you expect it to do, then you trade in that direction. If you're wrong, you're not in the trade, right? What that means when you're wrong, it means your analysis is not very clear. It means you got the pattern incorrect. Wait until the pattern shows you what it actually is doing, and then you trade again. There is no reason to freak out. There is no reason to go crazy, right? You eventually get the trade you want. And if you're selectively trading, which means you're trading the best patterns and the best trades, and you're not just grabbing everything and chasing everything and running after everything, you will make money. So let me give you a very simple concept. I know most of you know that I said last week, I'm doing a lot of one-on-one with my traders who are not really, who are struggling. And what I do with these traders, I identify where they make their mistakes, where they're making the most mistakes. And you would be surprised. It's exactly where most of you are making your mistakes. They make mistakes in money management. They make mistakes in their analysis. Well, totally getting the analysis wrong, not just understanding what it's doing, not just, really getting it on the wrong side. And they make mistakes with stop losses, right? Where they pull off stops and how much they're trading, risk and money management. So I found this a cure for that. I can share with you. It's pretty easy. Since most traders and 65% of the traders in our group are successful, we attach one to every new one. But what we have done to those people who can, like most people also, what we found is that they take one trade and they put it on, like they said, okay, I think this trade is going to go. So they take this trade, and instead of putting it with a very small risk to reward, let's say 1%, hoping to get 2 or 3%, they're going to go, well, I think it's going, so let me go 5% in on that. So they go 5% in, and if they're lucky, they make 5% in their account. And then the next trade, they go 5% to 10%. And that one goes against them. So they had a 10% stop loss here. And because it's 10% of the account, what they do, they yank the stop loss and let it go more. So now a 10% loss or a 5% loss that they were supposed to take suddenly turned into a 20% loss for them. And that becomes an area of panic where you start panicking. You start saying, oh my God, why did I put the stop loss? Why did I put 5%? Why didn't I put 1%? All those things that most of you go through, by the way, right? They start going through that emotion, right? And what I found was I showed them a very simple thing. I said, think of yourself, since you like to trade, think of yourself as the owner of a retail shop or a big store or something. You're never going to buy, if you're selling fruits, let's just say you're selling fruits, you have a small store selling fruits. You're never going to buy only mangoes, right? Because if the mango's rotten, you lose everything. You're likely going to stock up your store with a lot of different fruits. So what I get them to do, instead of taking one trade at 5%, take 5 trade 1% or 10 trade 0.5%. So not the best way to trade, but why do I do that? Well, I want to disattach them from the single trade, because when you have one single trade at 5%, you become attached to the trade itself. No longer the analysis mean anything to you. No longer what the chart is doing mean anything to you. The trade itself means to you now. You got to save the trade. So for traders who are trying to save the trade, the best thing to do is to detach them from any single trade. So if you're one of those people having that issue, detach yourself from the trade by taking much trades. So you take 20 trades, much smaller. It's the same amount you're risking. But now you have to look at different trades. So you're not attaching to one trade. And some are going to win, some may even lose, some may even get you break even. The point of that is not so much to see let all their trades win. The point is actually to detach them. And when they get detached from trade, then they start selectively choosing the best trades. Right? So that's what I put those traders on. The second thing that I noticed that they're doing, very cases, when they get a trade going their way, They don't move their stops into profit or to break even, which means they're thinking, well, it has to go. And what if you are trading in a correction that may just end right there and turn to the upside? So what I noticed with some of my traders was that they were pretty good at picking the points of entry. They were pretty much good at getting very good entry point in trades. But out of 20 trades they took, right, they end up winning about 10 and losing about 10. So they're either back at square one or sometime in a minus because they lose more than they win. And then I examined every single trade and I said, if you had moved that trade, you had enough pips, you know, you had enough reasons to move. And I said reasons. I'm not going to say pips here because we have strict rules on when you should move to break even. So based on our rules, if those traders have moved those trades to break even, actually his account would be up because the 10 trades he won were money, and the 10 trades he lost, at least 8 of those 10s would have been break-even trades. Based on rules we have, literally based on rules we have that says you should move to break-even at this point. Right? So if you had done that, you would be there. So we are putting them on that, and you have to strictly follow those rules because those rules are created for a specific reason. Those rules are created on our experience and the trades and how we realize that these trades could behave at a certain point. So trading is not that easy as you may think, as people may want you to think. People who are trying to sell you something for $200, scam you somewhere, or sell you a moving average strategy, selling some crazy strategy. We don't sell strategies. We teach you to trade. There's a big difference between that. And we keep you and we train you and we teach you until you learn to trade. Right? So I noticed the last time why most of the trolls came on is because I said, okay, my course is on. The course is starting Monday. And there is enough people in the course, but we can still take more people because we have much more trainers right now. And if you one of the people who want to join, you have like the last day, the only form of payment you can do right now is PayPal because none other payment would make you get in time in the course. Now, we have had people who paid since last year to be in this course. So people who, because of time factor, cannot take the course right now, have paid also. But they will take their own time. They will look at the recordings of these courses, and then they will take the next course. What does taking a course mean? Not just looking at the recording or being in the class. We train you. We have practical training classes, which means you show us what you are doing on your screen, and we tell you where you're going wrong. We correct your mistakes on the screen that you are showing us. That happens in a very small group. So every small group has a trainer individual, like 10 people in the group, and you will have a trainer there. And then when you finish there and you have more confidence, you come and you repeat the same thing with me. You show me your screen, you take a chart, you start doing your analysis, and I would look at where you're making mistakes and correct it. Right? That's the whole point. Now, I'm not saying this so that you join me. I'm saying this because one person who's never in my group, never seen him, he's not in my group, went and write something on my Facebook page that he took the course and he didn't get the training, I promise him. Look, right now in this group, I think there is a lot of my traders, and they're listening to me, and they're testament that we do all of this stuff that we tell you we do. And I don't actively advertise my course anywhere. There's a specific reason for that, because I don't just want everybody to take the course. If I wanted that, it would be pretty easy. What we actually do is we said you have to have 1 year experience. You can imagine how many people will take the course if I sell it for $500 and you don't need to have experience. I can tell you how many people will take that course, right, Alan? That's the right way to put it. Like what? You don't expect people to say that. He actually did that. I had to remove him from trading. So from Facebook. That, this is the thing. It's not only about the money in the course. Otherwise, I'll sell it for $1,000 and I'll get 1,000 people to take it who have no experience. And those people will never learn to trade because it's going to take them a hell of a long time to learn to trade. So what we try to do is filter traders who are now learning, who are trying to become traders, from traders who are seriously want to be traders. So the cost of the course is a filter. That's the first thing. It's a filter, because if you don't have capital, you will never, let me just repeat this. If you don't have a capital, the market is going to beat you. I don't care what anybody tells you. You can't take $500 and be successful in this market. It's like taking $500 and said, I'll open a restaurant. Or one guy wrote me, he said, hey, those guys are selling their course for $300 and $400 and $500. Why are you selling yours so expensive? I look at him and said, well, you know, they're actually phones selling for $50. You still have an iPhone. There are cars selling for $2,000, $3,000. You still want the Ferrari, right? You don't go and argue with the guy selling Ferrari. Why is this car so expensive? You choose what you can take. If you think that that course is giving you value for the money you pay, take it. If you don't think so, then that's the whole point. We want people who are very serious in trading. Now, some of you who may not have the capital or serious, I always give you advice what to do. Keep looking at this webinar. Keep trying to practice. Keep trying to see if you can make success. And then, please, you're welcome. It's that easy. It's not very complicated. The only thing I want you guys to do is to help share these webinars, because there are thousands and thousands of traders out there who cannot afford a course. They go buy a $500 course and they end up losing their account, literally. So if you can share, at least they will know what to look for in the charts, how to understand when to get in a trade, how to figure out what the patterns are doing. They may not be super successful, but they may not lose their account. And they will not, if they're the first year in trading, the number one thing they should know is they will never, ever buy a course. Don't buy a course if you're in your first year of trading, because you don't have the knowledge to know what to buy. That's it. And the second thing, don't buy signals. You want to see how many trolls are going to come in this chart, this video here today? I'm repeating it. Don't buy signals. All the signals, people are going to come troll me. Don't buy signals. You will never be successful with signals. If you could become a successful trader with signals, I would be selling signals. And you know how I know it doesn't work? In my room, it doesn't work. If I'm in the room and I said to everybody, hey guys, let's buy this right now, or let's sell this right now, and there could be 100 people in the room, and the trade goes very well, and then we said, hey, how many of you buy it? 5 to 10 people. Because it's signal. It's a signal. You're making a call, and not everybody trades the same instrument. Not everybody wants to take a trade right now because they're already in a trade. Not everybody is willingly to click the trade right now. They don't understand the full trades right now when you're sending a signals. My traders are in the room to learn to trade, not so much to get signals. So don't buy signals. I've never met a person, and any one of you room can disprove me. Are you buying signals and are you successful in it for a long term? I've never met somebody who said, well, I'm very successful for the last 5 years. I've been buying signals. Doesn't work. No one has ever done that, right? So that is the point. That's why I'm here. I'm here to make sure you guys can get some, not only just give you the daily view, but keep you away from making crazy mistakes. Because there are a lot of people out there, you know, they especially where people are advertising, yes, if you haven't taken any course, this is the best course for you. No, that's not the best course if you haven't taken any course, or if you're a newbie, or if you haven't learned anything. Go first, figure out, learn. Figure out what's going on in the internet, what's everything's happening, and then you make an educated decision whether you want to take a course or not. The course you should take when you want to get better at what you're doing. Right? People are successful who sell signals. Yeah, they're definitely. If I sell certain tomorrow, I'll be very successful. I mean, let's be honest. 167 of you in here. I'm pretty sure 100 of you will buy my signals for $100 a month. Isn't that so? Like, come on, I know 100 of you here will pay $100 a month for the signals, right? Can we agree to that? Just type a yes if you pay me, right? I know that. And if I wanted to sell signals to you guys, I know how to make money. I don't do that because you will not be successful. That's the whole point. You cannot, it's not that easy. 200 and you'll still pay. I know that. I get that offer every day. I'm trying to save you. I'm trying to say, hey, don't do that. Better to come and you have lifetime access when you take my course. You have lifetime access so that I can correct you and learn you and train you and get you to become a good trader. And when you become a good trader, there are traders who are making a hell of a lot of money in my group. I mean, really a lot of money. I mean, it's 6 digits and 7 digits in the group making money. And this is not he say, they say. This is I saw those accounts. First, I couldn't believe it. So I asked to see them and then they showed me their accounts. So I know who is making what kind of money. People who are in my group are actually there and they're actually managing accounts. And not one or two, there are many of them. One guy has a mom account. If you're in here, you don't have to identify yourself. That is 40 million people $40 million worth following him on the mom account. I couldn't believe it until he sent it to me. He had to send a Snapchat before I said, oh, that's serious. I thought he was kidding and he was, trying to get it. I was like, wow, you got it. But he didn't take my course and then do that. He was already running that mom account. Then he joined the course. He took the course so he can learn more, right? He can learn more to trade. So he already had a lot of people following him. He had that build up a long time, years ago. And then he decided he's going to take my course to learn more. But he's in there. He took the course and he learned. The people who were bankers who were taking this course. And I'm kidding you not, the guy who's handling my account now in Dubai will be taking the course. We spoke to him about it. He is one of the people who do that. Right? So, you know, it's for serious traders. It is for serious traders. If you want to understand, this guy's working in the bank. He's my bank manager, so I know. Right? I can tell you. I spoke to him Saturday. He said, I'm planning on taking the course. I was like, great. Just let me know when you're ready. Right? So this is the reality. Those are the people that, you know, can take the course. They have the finance, and I don't mind them taking the course. They get my attention more. I still try to give you once a week here what I see and how I see the charts. Now, will it be perfect? Would it be exactly the way? If the behavior changed during the week, well, yes, you might get it wrong, but we still watch it and we still change as we see the structures are changing, right? So I can't do it every day. That's just wouldn't be fair to my traders if I come here and do it every day for you guys, right? So let's go. Let's go with that, right? I hope you guys see this and you got the trade. Great. Let's go now. Dollar index. What is dollar indexing? Still in consolidation, right? And it still looks like the consolidation will be much bigger than this, right? It looks like they're trying to go up, so they'll make a bigger consolidation in here. The mere fact that they broke out here doesn't mean anything. That by itself is not a trade signal. It's not a purpose to trade. It's not a reason to take a trade. If you know how I trade, right? And most of you may know, right? You want to get your flag. You want to get that correction before you confirm that that is going. So I think this is going to go up a little more. I think euro is going to come down. So euro already coming down. Some of you might be in the trade. What we will look for in the euro and where we would look to get profit in the euro, you'll watch it first for two different levels. And by levels, I mean two different areas where the pattern may finish. Breaking of this low might complete this pattern and they could still go back up. See this one? They could still go back one more up. So if you took the sell, you'll have to watch it when they break this low, which means you have enough time to make break even or put your trade into profit. If it continues to go down after that, and they start falling really hard, we will be looking at a daily structure. If this thing really starts falling hard, we will look at a daily structure that would come to this low. So it's either that low or this low. We're expecting either a small correction and they continue to go, or a very deep correction. Which it's going to be, we'll see. Bang. I already showed you that, and I think it's the same thing. I'm still expecting. If pound spends the rest of the time consolidating here like this or so, if they do that long consolidation here, well, yes, we'll be looking for more up. And that might mean we got something wrong on where the correction is. But so far, I still think we're going to get one more down here, an equivalent of this, and then we will look for that as either a running flat or an expanding flat. Rarely it's going to be an expanding flat, but it could still be. I don't think that's the start of the downside. At least one more impulse up, and that would confirm a five-wave structure. So when we get 1, 2, 3, and if we get 4 here and we go back for 5, that would complete one impulse or complete the entire correction. How would we know what that is going to be? We'll figure out that when this starts to happen. Right? When that starts to happen, we'll figure out that, right? So let's go. Aussie. Aussie keeps going up more. Aussie was a nice short buy. If you were looking at the buy setup, they were short buy, and then you stop buying. This was a short buy, and then you stop buying because this is a sell setup right now. Same thing, you're in an uptrend. So you will watch this one when it comes to this level. If you're in the sell, some of you should be in that sell, right? If you're looking at it's a sell setup, not gone very much. You can still probably get in that sell. When it gets at this level, you'll watch it. If they break that level, it means we are correcting this whole piece. So it could be a deeper correction in play. Right? This will be a much bigger correction if they break through the structure. Right now, I think they could stop here and go one more up. New Zealand. New Zealand is making a big correction. New Zealand is actually going very, very aggressive up. So at some point, and I think now may be the point, we'll have to make it. If this is going to either end and go down, or they're going to make a correction here, it has to be a bigger correction like this. And if we get a correction like that, then we'll make one more up. That will take you about 2 or 3 weeks. So it's not like you have to worry right now about this going up. I don't think this is going to go up long term right now. Short term, on the 4-hour, can they still make one more up? Well, they're about to break the structure. So if they break out of this structure, it means any flag you get in here, and you'll wait for that flag here to confirm more downside. And that could be a very, very big correction. Probably be sideways for 2 weeks. You want, if you get this sell, you want to take this sell because it has potential to go down. Yen, we're looking for a buy. I think I showed you that pattern in the daily. It hasn't gone very much low. It went slightly lower, right? Slightly. It was here last week, I think, and they went slightly lower, and that's it. This still looks very potential. And because you're looking at that structure that has a very good one to the upside, high probability of that trade happening. 1, 2, 3. I mean, just remember the yen. You were with me, and most of you were here last time when we were looking at this three wave. Remember when this was going down? When this went up, I said, guys, that cannot be all. They have to make a correction. Instead, they make a deep correction, and they start to go up. And we said, okay, be careful. This could be three waves. They'll come back to the low, break the low, and then turn to the upside. If you were following me in the webinar, that's step by step what we did. Well, we're doing the same thing now. You made it one up, and when this was going up, remember I said if you buy this, be careful. They have to make a deep correction. Well, they made a deep correction. Now, is the correction over? I don't know. They could still come here and come back one more. So if I said I'm expecting this one to go up now, and it doesn't go up that much, some people are going to start to freak out. So I'm going to tell you what I think. I think you may want to buy it at this level. And at this level, they will tell us whether we get one more down or go up. Personally, I believe we're going up. That's my personal view on it. If I'm buying it because I think it's going to go up. Now, when it comes to this level, I'll put it to break even. For me, that would be a break-even trade. For you, that could be a traded profit, and you might be getting a downside. If I get the downside break-even, I buy it back again here for that one. Right? So it's just different style of trading. It has nothing to do with how I trade and how you trade. Because we trade different volumes and we trade for different reasons. Right? I'm trading for investors. You're trading to make money, double your capital within the next couple of months, which you have a small capital and you're like, I have to be aggressive to make money. Right? That might be the point. So let's see what this does. I think it's a good buy. I'm looking for a buy in it. And we might all get the buy very soon because we've got a very sharp impulse. We've got a correction. Looks like they're about to break out. So if they do, we'll all get a buy. You can put it in the 60 minutes, wait for that, and get into the trade. Can they come a little more down? Sure. But that doesn't change the structure to the upside. The long-term structure to the upside will not change. Let's go. CAD. CAD, we were trying to get it to the upside and it wicked us out in the news, up and down, right? So we wait and see what happens, and I still think it's upside. I still think this is going up some more. Now it's looking like they're going to make just a flat here. And if they make just a flat, that means this was the end of the move and they're going down totally. But you will still take this buy. And I'll tell you why you may want to take that buy if you trade CAD and you want to trade CAD. If you get a flag here, take this buy because potential is they're going to break this top, then go down. Right? This becomes the whole correction. I don't think the correction ended here and that was the final impulse, but it's possible. It's rare, but it's possible. So now they will tell us. Downside means they make a flat here and turn. Your buy will be probably just a small profit and you go down. Potentially they can go up. Yeah, they can break. It depends on where you put your weekly trend line. They can break it. The trend line itself doesn't mean very much. I think you're looking at this trend line. If you pull that two down there, they can break it. But I don't know. I'm expecting them to just do something like this and then come down, something like that. Right? So we possibly would look for this trade up. If this turns out, here's the thing. If this piece here turns out to be just a flat like this, they come here and then they start to go down, we will take the sell. So I'm warning you that if you take the buy, when it comes to that top, move it to break even. And if it starts to drop, look for this sell because this sell will become a very long impulse, right? It means this was all the correction, that piece there. Kind of a weird one, but possible, right? It's possible structurally that we look at it in a 4-hour structure, it's possible, right? So for the 4-hour buy, if you get the buy and it comes to this level, put it to break even. If they start to fall, you get a break even trade and you get this sell, right? It's not complicated. Like I said, it's not simple. It's not as simple as, okay, you buy it then and that's it. Bingo, you've got all your money in your pocket. You can go to sleep now, right? It might change direction. In that case, we have protective measures. Is that structure changing? Do we see a different structure? As one person said, this guy is always saying it's going up and down, but he's just guessing his way. Well, I always said to people like that, hey, live in your own world. If you think that we are not that these structures don't work, you may as well think that anything you don't know doesn't exist. That's okay with me. Just don't waste my time. Don't come here. Don't go on the YouTube video. Don't watch it. Don't waste your time as well, right? I'm talking to that guy specifically. Don't waste your time. Do something better with your time if you think what I'm doing doesn't work. I'm enjoying it because I see that it works. I've studied this for years, and I've studied everything else for years. It's not like I decided I'm going to just do this because I like this. It's because it works. I've studied everything else. It's not like I don't know what support and resistance is. Oh, yeah, he didn't know it exists, so he doesn't know what to trade at, right? I've done that before, way before. So it's what works for you. And if it works for you, then that's the whole point. If it's not working for you, then either you don't know it well enough or not your thing. Very simple. Swiss. Up. See? Nothing new. Remember I said last week, if you're going to be selling that, you got to be careful. Get out for break even, right? Because this is a sharp move up. This sharp move, if you're not in that sharp move, and you shouldn't be in it if you're not very aggressive trader, you can wait for this to end and make a flag. And when it makes a flag, this one is going to be a good trade for you. And just in case you're asking, we don't always say go up and down. Sometimes we say specifically one direction where we are expecting it to go. And that is because the pattern we have seen has completed itself. So that's simple, right? It's not very complicated. I know for some people it's difficult, but I keep saying it's simple if you learn it. Silver, we're getting a correction here and we want more. It looks like more correction is in play. But if they make a correction here, then very likely they're going to give you one more up. If they make corrections in here, they're going to give you one more up. They tried to break there. They didn't break there last week. So let them correct, take off this one. If this is an expanding flat, the best time to buy it is above the top. If it is not an expanding flat, but part of a bigger structure, right? Part of a more complex structure, then they might come down some more. I don't like to sell right now. I really don't like to sell silver in the first place, and I don't like to sell where it is. So either they break, you buy above the top when they break, or just leave it where it is. If they come lower, we buy again. If this correction becomes more complex, which means it becomes something like this, right? More complex here, we'll buy lower. One second, guys. Let's go. Gold, give me 1 second. Need some water. Okay, sorry about that. Let's go. So gold looks like it's going to come down some more, and you can expect one more down. At this point, we don't know for sure whether this is going to be a total downside, sorry, or they're making some kind of a correction here. Both are possible. Both are possible because of a structure that exists that might be an expanding flat. So if they make a long-term correction here, we will buy. You're taking short-term sells. If you take a short-term sell and you get lucky and they fall, well, good for you, which means you're looking for the sell. So if you take the sell and you get lucky, they fall. If you take the sell and you don't get lucky and it's a correction, they will not go very far. You will take some profit, you'll get break even. They'll come here, they'll probably go back up. Come here, go back up. You can take small trades, and when they make a deep enough correction, we'll buy. Right? So you look for short-term sells. Can this spike up from where it is? No, I don't think so. But if it does, you can buy until they break the top. You cannot buy because any buy in here becomes dangerous. Euro Aus. Look for the upside. I think I showed you this one. It's correcting. Remember last week I said this correction could get more complicated. Well, it's getting more complicated, and I think they can go back here and then drop one more. If you're getting into the buy, I want you to be aware of this. Let me just show you that. This is an impulse and a correction within the correction. So if you take this trade here and it comes to the top there, move it to break even because they can do this again and then take off. That will mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then go. Very possible, right? So you see how the patterns work and you see how you can see them. Should you take this buy here if it breaks out? Definitely. Would that be the one that goes? Maybe not. That's a break-even trade for you. If you understand pattern and you figure out what it's doing when it gets there, move it to break-even, and then you wait, right? If it goes, that's a trade. If it doesn't go, it comes back lower. You repeat the same process. You wait for impulse, wait for the flag, buy again. Exactly. You're in New Zealand. Kind of making a big consolidation here now. They'll probably do one more down and then we'll be ready for the buy. You can actually get a short-term sell here. There wouldn't be a bad short-term sell. It's a very short-term sell. I would actually want them to go up some more like this and then break. So if you take the short-term sell, be careful. This would be the trade and then we'll look for this trade up. I still think they're trying to go up. And here is another expanding running flat for those of you who are learning. That's the next running flat. Don't ask me why and don't ask me how you will recognize them. That's something we teach you in the group, how to recognize them, how to know when you're getting a running flat, and how it's behaving and why we think that's a running flat, right? That's the whole point, a very big one. There are more weird ones than that. Like I said, we teach you how to identify all those stuff, right? So remember this one, you're a chief. They made one, they made this, and they made that. And we were thinking that they would make 1, 2, 3, right? Remember I said last week, they would probably make 2 and then make 3 and then go back. They actually made a very sharp one down. And the question is, should we get in the buy now? Because it's not very clear whether this is all the correction, right? They're breaking out, but we can't say for sure, is that all the correction? Because this one, you notice this one went up pretty sharp here, came back down and then made the impulse, which means you got a bigger flat in the middle. I would not be surprised if they start doing this, come back here, make a flat, and then go. Right? So if you're going to be buying this, what you would do is you would wait for them to make a flag. So if you look at previously, if you wanted to buy into this impulse, this piece going up when they broke that, you wait for this flag or you wait for that flag, or you wait for that flag. One of those 3 flags were a buy. So if they make a flag here and give you a trade here, take it. Put it to break even and wait to see if they go back high. You know, whether they're going to come back. If they come back, it's not a good trade. But if they go to the top, that's your trade. Take profit. You can move it into profit as well and then, you know, let them take you out. So eventually this structure will break to the downside. But for now, they're crawling up very nicely. And they could keep doing that for a long while. Right? This up and down here could be there for a long while. And then eventually they break. Right? So when exactly is going to break? You don't have to know when exactly is going to break. You just have to follow what this piece is doing every time until you get a breakout. Euro yen. If you took the sell, and you should have taken this sell, I think you remember that, if you took that sell. If you got a break even and you got out of it, okay. If you didn't, well, you want to move it to break even now because this looks like a very big flat in the middle, one of those running flats also. So there's a good chance that this could go back up. Now, it's not confirmed that that is the flat because we don't know what that, we can't say that that piece is not the single correction that ended, which means you're looking for 2 things here. If they make a flag, if this just continues to make a flag, you sell. If they make a sharp move up and make a flag to the upside, you buy. Which one it will do? You will know that by Tuesday. If you wait long enough, you will know which one you're getting. And then you will know whether you should buy or whether you should sell. If you buy, you're buying for short term. If you buy this, if you get a buy setup, it's short term to break this up. And then we're going to get downside. If you're selling it, it's short term to break this low. And then we will see what happens there. So both of them, but this is a better trade than this one. But both are good trades. Risk to rewards on both of them pretty amazing. Right? We're still in a big sideways move. And this is your impulse. So we're in a correction. Either the correction goes a little more and then come down, or the correction actually comes down from there. And you would have to have a setup to buy or sell any one out of the 2. Right? You don't just buy or sell because there's an option. So when we said this pattern could do both that, you have to have the proof that it's doing one of that and then you get in the trade. Right? So it's not just, okay, he says it's going to go both ways. Yeah, but then if, you know that how computer work, right? If this, then that. So you have to wait for it, but you have to know that the possibilities and that pattern exists because most patterns don't give you 2 ways. Some patterns just give you one direction. And here's a good example. If you're looking at this trade and it breaks, we're not looking to buy this. We're only looking to sell it. There's only one direction we're looking for this. So here's a pattern that doesn't have to go up and down. This one only gives you a sell. Some gives you buy and sell possibility because it's an incomplete pattern. This one we're saying, if this goes up, ignore it. This pattern has to go down. To complete itself, there has to be a down move here. So if it goes up, the down move could be short. It could be to this level and then go back up, but then that would be a break-even trade. I would not trade it for break-even trade. I would trade it with the intention that they're going to break down from there. Yeah, definitely hard when you don't know what to look for. And that is what we teach you to do, right? That's why we have a training course, so we can train people how to identify these patterns, how to see them in the chart. Because if you take out the charts, most of you can't see anything. Might take off all the lines and start taking out things from the chart, right? You definitely going to, what the hell is he talking about, right? So are we going to get another sell here? Somewhere here? If you get another sell, sell it. Right? Potentially, we were thinking from here they would go. It's much rarer now that they're consolidating here. It's most 90% of the downside. The upside, I'll be totally ignoring, which means that we'll consider the pattern ended here. Because it looks now like there's going to be more upside, more downside than upside. Let's wait and see. For the upside, you don't have a buy, definitely. Because this is not an impulse. I'll wait for them to make an impulse pull back, and then you can look for a buy. It's most likely that this is an expanding flat and they're going down. So you can most likely look for the downside. And remember this one? I've been tracking this one for you guys for how long? All the way from this bottom here. Up, down, up, back to the top. Remember breaking the top and people were freaking out? Hey, he says it's going to go down, but it kept going up. And then it dropped. And you don't see them anymore. They stopped talking. They just disappeared, right? Oh, it's worked, actually. He was right about that one, right? Well, I was right about it all along from the bottom here. If you understand structure, what we're looking for is either a running flat or an expanding flat, and then we're going to go up. So there is at least one more impulse in this thing to the downside, this impulse. That impulse could either break the low or don't break the low, and then it's going to go back up. That would complete 1, 2, 3 waves. Can that be more complex than that 3 wave? Of course. But that's not something we're going to talk about here today. But it can be more complex. And that is why we do it every day. That's why we relook at the charts every day. So let's go. Next one. Euro Chief, Pound Chief, sorry. Pound Chief, we're looking at this, and still in this pattern, there's one more wave up, and it looks like they're going to go for it. I really don't like the way they're going for it, because if you notice that I showed you this, they were making impulse, correction, very impulsive move. Impulse, correction, impulse. This is not doing that. This pattern is not doing that. It's going up slowly, but you notice it's going up. Look at this whole structure. It's not going up as aggressive as this went up or that went up. So the buy here, if you're taking the buys, and you should take the buys, if you're taking them, take them with care, so that if the worst case scenario, they turn to the downside, and I could see this pattern here, this whole structure, 1, 2, 3, turning to the downside. I could see this possible happening. So if that happens, you get a break-even trade. Right? It's very likely that that could happen. It would not surprise me that they don't break the top and they drop. Right? Because I've not, this pattern is not going as aggressive as I expect. They could still crawl their way up. So if you're in the buying it, you just got to move to break even. If they keep crawling their way up like that, pull back, crawl again, pull back, you're okay. You'll get small trades. Once they break this top, you want to get the hell out of it with your profit. Once that top got broken, you want to come out of it. Maybe a little higher than like this top here. The 270 probably, right? By the 270 here from this point, you fib this one. If you get to about the 270 here, you want to get out of it. Because from that point, it's downside. At least that is what this pattern is telling us. So let's go. Pause. Looks like we're going to get one more impulse up, because this whole piece here now starts to look like a consolidation. And that means they can give you one more up. And this would still probably be a downside, right? I don't think this is a correction for more upside. we don't see that in the daily structure. And the daily structure is showing us more of like you've completed a 3-wave structure, and you're likely going, if you go up here, you're likely going to make corrections and then come down, right? So if you get a buy setup, you take it. It could be risky in that they may not go very far, but if you're lucky, they go very far and you get a very nice trade. If you're lucky, this trade do that and then come down. If you're unlucky, they will just break the top like this and go down. And they could do both of those, right? So if you take the buy, you have to be very careful. The longer term is to the downside. Pound New Zealand, I don't think you want to take any buys in here because this pattern is mostly showing us downside. We've seen these patterns, and when we see them, they mostly show us downside. Very often shows they're going to break down. How far down? Because this looks like whole one impulse. I don't think the whole correction is over there. It might still come here and go back, make a more complex correction here, right? But you can take the sell. If you're lucky, that sell really goes. If you're very unlucky, you get about 20 pips or 30 pips. Not a bad trade. Peng Yen broke the top again, and Peng Yen has been making, we relooked at the whole structure. Remember, this one is very difficult. It's still not clear what the structure is doing. And we looked at the whole structure, and what we noticed was something amazing. This part is pretty much like that. This 1, 2, 3 up is pretty much making 1, 2, 3 up there. It's just a smaller part of what they did here. I'm still expecting this to come back here, or at least to this level. If this is making a bigger correction in the middle here, something like 1, 2, and coming back for a 3 here to go back up, from this point, you will get one more up, right? But the way we still can't figure out what the entire structure is because it's still developing. But at some point, we will get one more down to go. They have to give us something in here that will end with an impulse to the downside before they go back up, right? So I'm thinking at least this week you can look for downside, right? Let's see if we get that. If they make a flag here in a 1 hour, you'll get a nice trade for a sell. I think you're getting a 1 hour flag here. So if they stay there a little longer, you'll get a nice 1 hour flag for a sell. The buy isn't, you shouldn't be buying this one. Even if it goes up, you don't want to buy it because the structure is not giving you a long-term buy, right? Not the direction I want to be in. I'm not sure what you mean by that. If you don't want to be in the direction the chart is going to go, it's easy just to go the opposite direction. And you don't have to worry about it. You just are going to donate some money to the broker, right? You're buying the pound pairs? Congratulations. If you have a reason to buy them, go ahead. If you have a reason to buy all of them, go ahead. I would not buy the Peng Yen. I would not even buy the Peng Oz, although I think it's going to go up. I would not buy it as it. But hey, if you want to buy it, be my guest. You have a reason to do that, right? Oh, you're not buying them. Okay, I thought you're buying them. If you're not buying them also, you see, you have to have a reason to do things. It's not about whether you buy or sell. It's do you have a good enough reasons? Let's go Peng Yen. It's about whether you have a good enough reason to do that. Peng Yen, you can get a nice sell here. Let's see Peng Cat. Peng Cat, if there's anyone that will go up, it will be the Peng Cat. Because remember, we looked at the Peng Cat and it didn't break the daily top. This was the only one that didn't break the daily top. And if you took this buy, this earlier buy, I think you want to move it to, you want to move that buy to profit. Yulia, where's Yulia? You're funny, right? Let's pray for him. Yep, so look for this. Yulia, by the way, is in our group. She's amazing. She really, she's very active. She's helping a lot of traders who are not so successful because she's one of the successful people in the group. And, one of the many and one of the 65%, put it that way. And they're really working hard to help the other guys be successful. Right? So if this could go more, but we're looking at a possibility of a 1, 2, 3 here and one more down. So maybe short term, yes. Right? So, okay, let's go. Okay, guys, we're not going to go to too much advertisement here. Let's move on. Aussie, New Zealand, let's go. Aussie, New Zealand. Here is what we have. we have a move down that is not going aggressive. It makes a move down. This wasn't a sharp impulse. It made a correction, made another move down, make a bigger correction here. Doesn't look like that is over. Look like they're going for a 3-wave correction here. And then they may go down. Upside, very limited. If you're trying to buy it, you got to be very careful. If you're trying to sell it, you got to be very careful. My best advice, stay out of this one. They're going down as we expected on the daily. And the daily, we expected some more downside, and they're going down, right? I think they will come tag this low. They're going down, but first they will have to make very deep corrections. If you notice here, they made deep corrections, here deep corrections, here deep corrections. So we can expect deep corrections here and then go maybe even deeper corrections and then go. I don't know what this pattern is going to look like to the downside, but it's not giving very good trades. We try to trade it, it's mostly break-even trades. It's not giving you good trades, so stay out of it for a while. When it starts moving aggressively again, giving nice trades, we'll take it. Aussie CAD. This was a buy. I don't know if you guys had this chart last week, but this was the chart we had for our group. And this is one of the patterns we were expecting it to make. We saw that, we see this, and we think they're going to get to that top. Now, somewhere around this area, they could break that top as well, right? But somewhere around here, you will get a sell setup. I think on the daily, you may be able to see that. I hope I'm not giving you guys too much confusion here, right? Because I'm showing you too much things, right? Basically, you're not supposed to see this chart the way it is. But, you know, you call yourself lucky, right? So this is your impulse, 1, 2, 3. That's your correction, 1, 2, 3. We made 1, and we think we're making 1, 2, 3 in here for a downside. Now, I want you to look at that and look at this piece here. See that? You just got a free lesson there. Why we think this one is going to do that and why you can buy it, right? That's how we do analysis. And that's, you will not see many of my charts like that in here, but you will see some of them. So basically you're supposed to be in this buy. It's going to go very slow. If it goes very slow, you just, you know, you either take it off or break even if you don't like it because it goes slow, and then look for the sell. Usually you're getting a lot of attention right now, right? By the way, if you're, you know, getting very good attention, you need to pay some extra money for that. Because we were meant to be just a webinar. Okay, just kidding. You have my account, you know what to do. Okay, let's go. Aussie Chief. You're getting a lot of private messages right now, right? Okay, let's go. Aussie Chief. This is also one that might break the top. Very much might break that top and then start to come down, right? Because you have a 3-wave structure here that is probably going up. So it's slightly up, but you know, then they're going to go down. So if you're looking for a buy setup and you get one, you can take it. It's not very aggressive, as you can see, right? It's getting very weak. So if they don't, and they may or may not break the top, depends on whether it's a regular flat or a contracting flat. So if you want to buy it, wait for the setup. If you get the setup, take profit. Because once they tag that top, that would be enough. If they start to break down from anywhere around here to the downside, and they're not breaking down as that, but if they do start to break down, that would be good sell setup, right? That would be really good sell setup. Aussie yen. We're looking for one more down, and it looks like we're getting that already. So you're getting a flag here. You can sell this flag. If it breaks, you can take a trade. It will be short-term trade. Come on. The line just doesn't want to come now. Good. You can take it. It's a short-term trade, but very likely you might get lucky and they come all the way to this low, right? So you can look for that trade setup. Canadian. This one, we were expecting this to go down pretty much. Let me just show you this. And I still think it will go down. They just happened to make a very, very tough structure at the top there. That wicked us out also because we were in the sell. Walked out well, but then wicked you out. And then they're doing this one. So if this is an expanding flat, and I think that's an expanding flat, if they make a flag here, sell. I wouldn't buy until they break that top. Put it that way. I will not buy until they break that top. Downside. If you guys want to meet Julia, you got to join the room. That's an extra fee. right? If you're joining the room to meet Julia, that's an extra fee, right? Add a 10% onto the cost. Is that enough, Julia, or we should take 20%? That's extra money to join the room if you're going to meet Julia in the room. New Zealandian. Just let me know why you're joining the course, right? So I can charge you some extra. New Zealandian, let's go. You guys are funny today, right? What's this here? And we were thinking contracting flat, they came down. So if this is the pattern we're looking for, then definitely we're going to break this low here. So you may get a very short trade to the downside at this level. And after that, you're going up because this would be your flat, right? So there may be one short trade here. You can go for it. Depends how far it goes. You're lucky. 10%. Okay, great. We'll go with that. So any one of you want to join the room to meet you, it's an extra fee. Just remember. Good. Let's go. CAD Swiss. CAD Swiss, you probably want to stay out of this because it's going to turn very soon. It's just not trading very well right now. They're making patterns, but these patterns don't go anywhere. Right? Come on, girl. Come on, guys. Let's go back to the webinar now. Don't make her. Yes, focus on the webinar. You leave the webinar now. Let's go. New Zealand CAD. Take this off. Let me bring the bigger picture to you because you don't want to trade it there in the small picture, right? If you trade in that area, you're going to be right. So right now they're making, you see, they're going up very aggressive. They're making a sharp one here. If you look at this as a 1, 2, 3, we're expecting downside. If this stays here for a longer time and consolidate, it's one more up and then downside, right? So let's look at it on the 4-hour. Kind of stay where it is, right? But if you go on to the 1-hour, you could see that they may be changing direction. And that is why I have this line here. If they break here, you definitely want to sell. You sell it to this level and put it to break even. If you're lucky, that's the start of the downside. There is a big trade to the downside. If you're not so lucky, they go back one more up and you get a very short trade. But you take the trade. That's the point. You take the trade because it could go down to this level. Susian, we put this back on. We weren't looking at this for a long while because we very quickly realized that there's a very nice trade in it coming down, and it probably is going to tag this low. You can see the sharpness in the move. You can see that one. You can see this, and it's likely going to do this. So you may want to look for a sell setup there. Wait for a flag, sell it. Let's go. We're in the 1-hour. It doesn't make it. This doesn't make a flag. I said, let it make a flag. All right, take that off. Let it make a flag here, then you'll get it. New Zealand chief, stay out of this. Stay out of that one. It probably is upside, but you will not get a good trade. So copper, sell setup, short term. If you take this trade, there is a sell setup here. It goes a little, take profit. It's going mostly sideways. So they will drop a little, pull back, drop a little, pull back, right? It's going sideways. So if you take the short, it's a short-term trade. Oil, consolidating. I think we might be getting that bigger 4-hour consolidation we're looking for, which is this one here. See that consolidation? We're looking for that. So they might be making, they made one up, they're making one down. If they come back here and make one more down, this would be the trade, right? We need a bigger consolidation like that before you buy. So if you're trading anything in here now, up or down, will have to be short term, which means if you get a buy setup here, they come to the top, move it to break even. You see, every time they came to the top, you move the break even because they go back down again, and then you buy, look for a buy setup. You might even get a sell here. You look for a buy, they go back up. They come to the top, you make it the break even. That is the one can break out, or they'll come back here and then break out. Just to show you that, right? So we're in a sideways move right now, and that move will continue for a while before it continues to go up. So any trade you take, up or down, has to be short term for now until it goes, right? So you may get a number of short-term trades before you actually get the impulse to the upside. UK oil is the same thing. No need to watch it. They may stay here for a while. You may get a bigger consolidation. Natural gas. So somebody wanted to see my analysis on this, and they said they would like to wait and see what it's doing. Well, if you're in my, remember I said, if you take the buy and all, just be careful, get it to break even because it might not go very aggressive. And what that means is that right now they might make a deeper correction here, go back there. You see they made a correction here and then went back up there. Once they do that and you break that top, look for the downside. So I would buy only after they make a correction, go there, give you divergence there, drop here, then you start buying again. So this would be a good sell because you're looking for that impulse now, right? S&P 500, short-term buys. Any buys you take at the top there is short-term. It's not going very aggressive now, but you're getting short-term buys, very short-term buys. See that? That buy is very short-term. I would not be buying it right now. If I was an investor, even I wouldn't be buying it right now. It's like buying Bitcoin at 19,000, 20,000. Some people tried it. You're not hearing from them anymore. When it was 18, 19,000, I was saying, guys, be careful. Once it breaks the top, take your money. They were all over me. Oh, what is he talking about? This thing is going to 100,000. It's 9,000 and they disappeared, right? So I wouldn't short it as yet. I would not go so aggressive, Ivan, but pre-prepared for the shorts, right? It's already very much moved, and that means they will have to correct. They always correct. The market always corrects itself, right? So any buy now is going to be short-term. If you get in a sell, you want to hold it. You never know when the fall is coming, right? Same here. This becomes, remember, we're thinking it was either going to be two things we're looking for. Either this is going to be a triangle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they come back to the low, then go. Or this was an expanding flat. 1, 2, 3. This was the end of the move, and they will go from here. So what you're looking for? You're looking for a 1, 2, 3 here. If you took the sell, you got a break even, and now you look for the buy. Because this is telling us we made a sharp move, we made a correction, we're going up. You would not know that at this point. You would not know it here, but you would know it when it starts to break that structure. Okay, that's your three-wave correction. Let's go up. You can still get into the upside. And where would the upside go? Let's look at it. So the upside is going to be short-term too, because they will break this top. As you can see, when they broke this top, they went a little more, and then they came back into deep correction. They'll probably break this top, come a little more, come into deep correction, go there, break that, and then they'll fall. Eventually, this is breaking down. And that is breaking down very soon, sooner than you may think, right? Sooner than you may think that thing is going to come down. So maybe just 1 or 2 more pulse up, and then we can start to see deep corrections in that. What about stock corrections you've been calling for a long time? Which stock? I'm showing you them. This is one I've been calling that once they break this top. This one here, once it breaks that top, it's going to start to go down, right? So this is what I'm telling you. The ones I have on here are the ones I do every week. Be careful now of every buy. I'm still repeating the same thing. I haven't changed anything. Once they break that top. If you look at my forecast says they should go break the top. And when they break the top, you become in a danger zone. How more than this go before it break? That's your guess. You trade it in a 4 hour, and you take very, very short-term trades, because that thing, once it breaks that top, it is going to fall. So you want to be in a trade, you want to protect the trade, you can get a buy set up here. That's a buy. This is a nice three-wave pattern, right? That's a buy. It's a short-term buy. Take your profit once it breaks that top and go a little more. Take your profit. S&P 500 going to come down. This one went a little higher than I would expect, but it's still, you saw those short-term buy setups, right? You saw those short-term buy setup, and you see the steepness with which is going. Well, be careful now, because very soon it is going to come back, right? There is a good reason why they're doing that. If you understand market psychology and how the market works, to make profit, right? To make profit, you're at the end of the webinar, so I'll spend 2 minutes on this. To make profit, you have to have enough crazy people going on the wrong side of any trade, right? So it's very simple. If you can control something, you have enough finance to control it, and you want to short it. What you want to do first is to have everybody else buying it. So you have to create a psychological effect that is going to make people go crazy. So what do, you drive it up, and then everybody says, oh my God, it's going to fall. And you drive it up again. And then everybody says, oh my God, this thing is going to fall. And you drive it up again. So now what everybody says, oh my God, this thing is going to go up. This thing is going to go up. It's not going to fall. It's going to go up. I'm buying, I'm buying, I'm buying. So the first 3 times they thought it's going to come back. And you know where they thought it's going to come back? I can show you one of the spots where everybody thought it was going to go down. Oh my God, this is going to fall. This is going to be the biggest fall in the world. You will never see one like that right in here. I think it was on my monthly chart. Yeah, it was on my monthly chart. We can go to the monthly chart and I'll show you that. This is where everybody was going crazy, that thing is going to fall forever. It's never going to go back up. See? More consolidation and then wait for your next up move. So they got everybody to go crazy that it's going to go down. We look at the pattern and say, no, you're getting another up move, at least to this level. We knew we passed that level already, right? For us, that was the target level. We passed it already. So it went a little higher than I was expecting. But we weren't going crazy about this going down there. So everybody who went crazy, they didn't buy. Now they're buying. Like, oh my God, look how much I missed. Now is the time to buy. That is the psychology of the market. That's how the market take your money. Get you to believing now, the people who want to make money, what they're doing, guess who is selling when you're buying? It's always about the money. Follow the money. If you're buying the stocks now, who the hell is selling it when it's going up? Where is that fool that is selling his stock when it's going up? And in volumes, because there are people buying in volumes. Where is the fool? I'll show you where the fool is in the Bitcoin. Remember this, and I'll repeat this again. People will tend to have short memory when I'll say it again. If you're buying here, you're a fool. Because they want you to buy there. They want you to buy at the top. Remember they told you should be selling at the top and buying at the bottom? Well, they told you it, but you still insist on buying at the top. And now I'll move. I did this and let me do Nifty and I'll go straight to Bitcoin and I'll show you that crazy stuff I was telling everybody about, right? Same here. Buy very short term and start moving your stops and taking profit. These buys have to be very short term. They're not long term because you're at the top. It's the same thing with Bitcoin, I was saying. Remember when it was going crazily and everybody was like, oh my God, it's going up. What is he saying? What is he saying about you can lose your money? It's going up. It's going from where? It's going up from here, right? It's going up. It's going up. Oh my God, I should be buying right now. Don't worry, that guy bought at 19. Some of you sold your house and bought at 19, right? Because you thought it's going to 100,000. They got enough people to believe that it's going to go for it. And the way you do that is you do this. Pull back. People thought it's going to go down. They said, no, let's push it up. Pull back, people thought it was going to go down. They said, no, let's push it up. Pull back, people thought it was going to go down. They said, no, let's push it up. And when they push it up that time, those who didn't, those who were in here and were in here and were here, they were like, everybody's crazy. This thing's going to go up more. I want to be in. And those who didn't get in there and get in there, got in here now. And you know how I know they got in there? Because it dropped. The reason it's dropped is because the people who are manipulating it sees that there is enough buyer. Now is the time to make them fools. Now it's the time to deal with those fools. Let's drop it from 20 way down to 11. Boom. Everybody who bought in here are squealing. I don't see them on my charts, by the way. Where are you guys? I don't see them anymore. They're squealing because they're stupid. They don't know anything about how market moves. And they don't want to learn. They want to just buy. Because, hey, don't worry, that guy. I don't say that. I said they're squealing. That could mean a lot of different things, right? I mean, they're feeling the pain, right? So, exactly. And then they go up and guess what? They buy some more and they buy some more. And I was like, guys, be careful because that, and we drop. Now you want to buy. Remember where you buy? Let them break this low and then you can start buying. And you buy this with care, right? You buy it with care. I tell it as it is. I don't work for them and they don't work for me. So they can't fire me. I can tell them as it is. They will come in my chart and troll the chart. That's the most they can do. Because the truth hurts them, right? When I was saying that be careful, this thing is going to drop, and it's going to drop very fast and very hard. They weren't listening. 50% drop, very fast, very hard. They learned their lesson. They're feeling the pain right now. So the only thing they can do is come and troll in my chart. What is this guy talking? He has no idea about Bitcoins. You need to go and read about Bitcoins. You need to educate. I don't need to do that. I need to look at the charts and tell you what it's going to do. and then you watch it do it. So can you buy Bitcoin again? Sure, you can buy Bitcoin. You can buy Bitcoin again. You should know that you can buy it. Now you can buy it. My traders are like, okay, you get a pattern here, buy it. Buy it slowly when it comes there. Be careful because they can still go lower. We don't know that this consolidation is over. You know who was the one that predicted Bitcoin is going to go up? The whole consolidation is over. And that was my very first chart on Bitcoin I did. You know when I did that? Way back in the days. And a lot of people, when I did that, was like, well, who is this guy? Where did he come from? I think the chart is written, bear market and Bitcoin is over. Yeah, look at this. The end of the bear market. You can see where I predict the end of the bear market on Bitcoin. Way at the bottom. That's where I predicted the bear market is ending and it's going to go up. And from that point, it just went a little sideways more. And people were like, how you said it's going to go up and it's keep going sideways? What are you talking about it coming up to this level, 114? I was wrong. I said it's only going to go to 1,004, right? All of you know how far it went, right? You can see my line still there. Let's see if it ever gets to that line. I said this thing is going to go to 1,400. You can imagine how wrong I was. But you know where we predicted it's going to end? When it ends, when we saw the end of that structure. That's it. The end of the structure was right here, right in this piece here. We saw the end of the structure. All of these, if you look at these, all of these were buying signs. All these are saying, buy it. See? Possible wave count. Oh, this was a buy set. Looks for upside. Right? Look for upside. I wasn't trading it then and I'm not trading it now, right? The end of the bear market. Look for upside. All these were telling you buy. One guy called me, should I buy now? I said, no, wait. Wait for it to correct and then buy. If you look at that chart, you would see that this was a direct answer to somebody who wrote me, right? Should I buy? No, wait for correction and then buy. Wait for your correction and then buy. Did it correct? Let's see. Easy to tell, right? Did it correct? Did it correct deep? Did it correct deep? You can buy now. Right? It's not that I don't know what it's doing. I can see what the structure is doing. If I don't trade it, doesn't mean I simply don't trade it because I think I know what this, this, I don't, okay, let's not go in that conversation again. That's a long conversation, right? This is a Ponzi scheme. It's literally the cost, the technical, the definition of Ponzi scheme is that it gets bigger because there are more voluntary people going into it. That's the definition. That's how they grow. That's how these pyramids grow because more and more people are willing to buy into them. Once people stop buying, the pyramid falls. Right? That's it. Once people, you see, because it's not making a profit. If people stop buying Apple stock, Apple doesn't fall because Apple can make profit. And that means, those who are holding the stocks will make profit. They will not just reduce the cost of the stock. They will not. As a matter of fact, people might not even want to buy the stock and it's going to gain cost because it's gaining value and profits. I hope that's a common sense thing I'm saying. Bitcoin by itself does not make a profit. Facebook makes a profit. They do advertisement on their site and they make profit. So you don't like Facebook stock and don't buy it. It will not fall because of that. You don't need more and more people to buy into Facebook for the cost to go up. If they put out that they make profit, the cost goes up automatically. Now, does Bitcoin put out that they made profit anywhere? They don't. But you can trade it. It's like you can trade almost anything if you understand what structures are doing. You can take your profit and get the hell out of it. And that's what I was telling everybody. When they break tops, take your profit and get the hell out of it. Right? And if you do that, you make money. Ripple was the best one that I told you to buy. If anybody was listening to me and I was hammering at this, don't worry with Bitcoin. Go buy Ripple at 14. 14, 15, 16. I was actually insisting, if you really want to do something in this, go get this one there. Even if you close it at $1, you made profit. If you close it at $2, you made profit. If you close it at $3, you made a hell of a lot of profit. If you haven't closed it, it's going to make another impulse to the upside. Right? So you're still in profit. It's 142. You bought at 14. And if this one breaks here, you can buy again. See? This is still cheap. 142 is still cheap. This could still go much more. Why go spend $19,000 on something when you can buy almost a similar thing here for $1.40? Well, similar. I'm not going into the details of what they are and why they're used and all of that. I know people like to come in with these details, and it's not important. It's irrelevant to the idea what I'm saying. I'm telling you about the patterns and the cost and value of these things. It's irrelevant what they are. In this method that we're using, it's irrelevant. I'm telling you about your risk to reward. If this thing goes down from 142, it's going to go to 1 cent. If Bitcoin is falling from 9,000, it's going to fall to 1 cent. That's 9,000 to 1. Here is $1 to 1. That's what I'm talking about. Cost value. I'm talking about risk to rewards. If this thing needs to get 3 to 1, it needs to go to anything like $3 or $4. And you have 3 times to 1. From 9,000, if you buy Bitcoin now at 9,000, it needs to go to 27,000 for you to get any kind of money, 3 to 1. 2 to 1, that will be. Right? So you see the difference. That's what I'm talking about. If you were buying this at 14, you make a hell of a lot of money. If you sold 1 Bitcoin and bought this at 14 cents, you made a lot of money. That's the conversation. Right? No, not same ratio. And not same money. It's value you're involving in. Not same money. I'll count it and show you. Right? It's not the same. You think it's the same? Okay. Buy 1 Bitcoin now and take that same amount of money and invest in this. And you will see the difference. Not same money, not same ratio. The distance they have to move in that time. That's the problem. And the possibility of them going to that distance. Right? So, okay, guys, I think this would be a good place to end the webinar. For those of you who are still interested in the course, if you're still interested, you have like your last chance. You will have to make very fast payments. You can add me to Skype. Just add me to Skype and you will get the information. Let me just type my Skype for you. MANGAL457. I guess all of you know it already. Yes, gold and silver was finished very early. We've done almost everything. There's some nice trade setups for this week, so I hope all of you make money this week, right? Trade with care, and I'll see you. Take care, everybody. Let's close the YouTube one. I forgot about the YouTube one. Should have closed a long time. YouTube, stop live stream. Okay, thanks to the YouTube people for coming. See all of you. Take care. See you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.